Chapter 22, Cuauhtemoc. When inekbukal for jamenda beto kamito his tent, this isn't citadin properly. What can Iglas tell me about a city called Cuauhtemoc? When inektusk. Jum, shaking his head, not Matuffer Fenny heard of it. I'll be rid by saying, Sam heard, but it heard of a lot of activities down that way as well, but never been there. When Inekbu stood for looking at the city's map, check around the interchange and see what people knew of this place, and get with me in the morning, during Yokumbi, with the rest of the warriors. Jum and I'll be said, well do. When Inekbu stood for looking at a map, trying to figure out where his people were for, of all place. Yearly, during Yokumbi, his native council, Raphael's son, Jem, and an additional 8 warriors, Molly, Iba, Evan, Shannon, Tiago, Hannah, Kenji, and none of it. Whom Jim found out, that they had been for it lessons. They all sat down to see what they could find out about the city of Cuauhtemoc. Shannon said, as a prostitute, myself, Evan, Ibra, and Molly were sent for fundamental said figment her. But as far as what goes on in those parts, we do not know. The men never spoke to any of us about their work for. Actually, they never asked us anything, they solely just gave us comments. Nervously and afraid, Evan walked forward and fell to her knees, crying. He had been selling me body since he was 12 years old, and he so overwhelmed she could not speak. When Inekbu stood and approached her, hugged her, took her hands, and locked her in the ears, my dear sweet sister, Knofes, Sabbath is not ashamed of what you were, never shall you, for it was not your own free will, but they forced it upon you. He is proud of who you are now. Remember this, Tia alone prevents us from loving. Forward in our lives because of our past. You are the most precious thing in Sabbath's sake, a woman, a daughter of love. Without one, there cannot be man. Go and live your life without Sam and take of us, who had been for the same thing, that fate, can live a life with Sabbath. If you decide to be married, tell that man your past, where Sabbath rescued you from. It has it, marry that man, they cannot. This from your source and continue for, that he still has problems of his own. He will love Sabbath, will forgive you as Sabbath forgive him. Give that man your all, and you'll never be ashamed again. For even Sabbath says there is no large sin, no small sin. Sin is sin. When Inekbu all the woman as they all begin to create walked out of the tent. Returning to this sick, a virgin in the tent was crying. When Inekbu, wiping tears from his eyes, stop at you far. Trying to keep his composure, is there anything you can tell us about this city? Tiago, Hannah, Kenji, and Nona stood for a moment, and none came forward, all of us except for Kenji worked in the incinerator. He worked in another city, just south of there for 2 years. On day afraid of being also accidental got stuck by some kind of needle. When it was told to the supervisor, it was never seen again. He asked about his whereabouts and was sent her, the same day. When Inekbu asked, what was it you were putting in the incinerator? No look back at him and, resting, cause he never really seen the inside of the bags. Blizzard was 10 dead bodies. When Inekbu started thinking for a bit, Finn told the man, your free maid said, adio, Kenji. Kenji approached the council, 4 years, me and my family worked as slaves, my grandparents, my parents, and even my brothers and sisters. And the youngest of them all and them family on living today. At 9 years old, when it started. And 30 years old, as of yesterday Havarian said, happy, belated birthday holding back the tears, Kenny continued, thank you, as a youth, you learned not to ask questions, if I tell anything about what Hebanian's warrior was doing. He held his head down and rubbed his fingers across his ears as the rest of his head. Nathan said in English, they murdered me and your family right in front of me because my grandfather refused to work no more. It wasn't until they sent me here 3 years ago, that he started to map out a plan on how he was going to kill Abooksigun. But that day I called him, whatever it was, he had said to myself, they would never leave your side. Raphael's son, Jem, shout, what? Abooksigun, is dead. He stood for himself for a moment, Abooksigun is what we were waiting for. He still never felt regions in Laguna de Bastelos. A vicious and cultured Debanian, Fed. Have ever seen, and yam in totalum, ya called him. When Enoch appointed of his council, what called it? Janigat and his knis, yam forward in it, for yam sir man may family will have been did dirty if he had killed him. When Enoch said, it, Jem scratched his head, and when Enoch said, you all in it is, it at him. When Enoch stood up, approached Kenji and Jem, and hid them, saying, and that's exactly where you two shall be, but even more, you shall be friend and other friend at that. For you will be with me without being with me, me double Sabbath, me cultures, if you will. When Enoch walked at Kenji and asked, what is your gift with which Sabbath has blessed you? Kenji said, self-healing. When Enoch returned to Jem, well here to wait for your gift and enlightenment, but according to his innocent people, there was supposed to be fitment of new service, a few months ago. No one showed up. No sign of an offership, even coming to his location, which makes me feel as if he was doing something that interested fearbacks. Jem interrupted, a benefit this operation at legally Bastiles is continuous, whether or not it comes. Bethesda Heron, cocaine, methamphetamine, and Mariana murder fifth, Alpacabek and Alpashalitilfer. When Enoch said, third those names again, I climbed in woody pass, I'm in a surprise. Octen, when Enoch said, after surveillance of Cuauhtemoc and until you would trend. He took a deep breath. As a matter of fact, Aubrey and myself will train, you two, I need to send you back to El Paso. I need to know if you were lending you any of it, or were we trying to fulfill some kind of mission. Tell no. Onion report to no on, but in office, her in this room. When Enoch Finn said, Kenji, please continue. Kenji continued, well, as a child, my job was cleaning up, and in my teenage years, he worked in incinerator, and by 20, he was withdrawing blood. From New Sources he looked for all the namoted strain to learn how to red kit if he were looking for ways to raise your race by using biological warfare fit bodily and destroy your populous strain. But for your at least 3 more levels that go down in that place. I do not know what they are doing in hostile levels. Jem interrupted, researching and testing synthetic drugs. Kenji Nielsen starts throwing on the floor as he continues. It's blown Makliki about correctly about 30 yards, by 130 yards. Faces inside the light colored light United Bastiles. Yahalians malt was through building her, and first a communicating tower in over tower in Tiest. Said Fed contrast tell RD doors, Fed up and up into ship or revis. Ship rated said 0 to 180 degrees back to 0, Fenedos at 360 return, but when it was, it sits hovering over the light, and it also 260 degree. Turns, and a light beam and PC bodies. There you live. You can see them moving, but they are worked in some kind of tool. When Enoch was for listening, then suddenly stirred off into space and stood up. Kenji, Yao, Jem, and I'll be discussed matter in detail, have something heavy in my heart. Our training will start first thing in the morning. When Enoch reached for Fintercom, and with great pain, sought, Yakub. The entire camp came running. He walked outside and stood on top of one of the small buildings, speaking into the microphone, forgiven. Have forgotten your pain, my fellow warriors, and you are not just warriors, you are my brothers and sisters. If you know that you loved and necessarily live with it that they live, please do and find them. If you find patient when to stay, by all means, stay and tell of about goodness, but no face, you are all welcome back with open arms. But fast at return with you must serve Sabbath, to stay. Her. Many of the people started talking amongst themselves. When Enoch continued, how many of you would like to go see, if your family is still living? 47 had raised their hands. Go now, but I'm afraid you must go fast because we do not have enough resources for it. Man to have a horse. But go, and find out, and if they return with you, so be it. If they do not and you want to stay, you shall stay, but if you return, please return with seeds, livestock, and things that will help us grow. Go in groups and stay in groups and let's team to part ways. When Enoch jumped off the building and returned to his for the rest of the day. Early the following day, after training with Kenji and Jem, a group of 8 people headed west. Followed by a group of 12 headed north. By noon, A party of 13 hideous before the last group prepared to heads off. When in it the stupid him, Alta and his with J, along with 7 more, shall accompany you to see about the city of Cuauhtemoc. With strict orders, head all of head, J, and your crew, stay in the shadows and wait and observe. However, everyone must carry fair communication devices, but no communication between you, except in an emergency. Return within a week or two with a report. You on that list and speedster. Axel raised her hand, och, Beckas ifrån of the spacet service. It went so better. Stay all left, first up when in it with Jimmy and Nerlisser. Nerlisser say. Och, everyone has at least a week's worth of ration. That leaves us with 45 men and women and about 2 weeks worth of offers, but we get like filled with this. Sabath is able. When in it smelled, Sabath, this, able. Listening to Nerlisser speak, when in it said, well, hold on, didn't you have something for me? Nerlisser smelled, as a matter of fact, did do. Clearing his throat, Nerlisser smelled. He first came across, in the send of Solomon chapter and verse 5 as up in the door, and it says, in black but lovely, O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. Do not stare at me because I am black, for the sun has burned me. My mother's sons were angry with me, they made me sure to crop the vineyards, but they had not taken care of me on vineyard. So, this is King David and Bathsheba's son. So, when it said my mother's sons were angry with me, it concluded that King David and his ancestors were also black. Smiling, Nerlisser said. You see. He said as he continued, now, turn with me to Jeremiah 8 verse 20. For the herd of the daughter of my people, Amharic, I am black, astonishment had taken hold on me. Nerlisser classified, was Jeremiah black as well? I remember reading how the Jews of Arabia were against that accompanied the Queen of Sheba and her son back from their visit to Israel. And many of the leaders and inhabitants of Ethiopia became Jewish and seized political domination of ancient Ethiopia, which was called Aksum back then. Many say that this was the religious center that contained the Ark of the Covenant brought from Jerusalem by the offspring of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, Menelik the first. Also, according to Acts of the Apostles chapter 8, verses 26 to 40, an Ethiopian Enosh, a servant of Queen Kenneth of Ethiopia, was baptized son after the resurrection. Yasi, in your Kirk's history box, Eusebius, a Roman historian, said that this man returned to Ethiopia, where he spread his faith. King of Aksum son embraced Christianity and declared it a state religion. So, Ethiopia was the oldest Christian nation in the world. Men in fact Ethiopia was a Christian country long before Rwanda and other parts of Europe. Ethiopia was closer to what Christianity was like before it became entangled with not as direct front imperial ambitions of Rome. And check this out, Nerlisser said. When Enoch replied, Och, I'm checking. Nerlisser could not stop smiling and laughing as he got excited talking to when Enoch do. Queen Candace was no joke herself. She was Empress of Ethiopia and King Delacana was in his world-conquering rampage. Queen Candace was both a Masasa military tactician and field commander. They say King Alexander could not entertain even the possibility of having his world and destroyed by risking defeat, especially by a woman. Stopped his armies right at the borders of Ethiopia and did not invade, because he was met there, by the white and black crops with their queen in common. Serenity her armies straight easily to met him, and was present on a warfront when he approached. Having assessed the strength of their troops, Alexander withdrew from Nubia, and headed to Egypt, instead. Another story claims that Alexander and Candace had a romantic encounter. The Romans met several queens of Moro, one they tied war named Candace. They did not realize that Candace was simply the melodic title meaning, queen or mother of the crown prince. Casidas gave special honor to their queens because they believed that kings, who were sons of this woman, were also sons of the great god, Amun. In other words, they imagined that these ladies were both of the good and mothers of the loving gods or the kings. If a king did, this with made royal and while her son was growing up. The people both worshipped her like a goddess. When the Romans went to war against Cush, they report that the Cushite army was led by Phoenix who was a massive, powerful woman, covered with jewels and elaborated robes and blood in an eye. Nerlisser was silent for a moment, As his men raced, check this out. Did you know that when Jerusalem and Judea were left desolate, most people were either killed, held in captivity, or were refugees fleeing in different routes to Ramadan as far as South Africa? All that remained in Israel was to defend little garrison at Mount Meseda, a forest complex of updated civil of Bahra the Great. In vain, the entire Jewish nation was scattered throughout the earth. They called this the second exile war in itself, even to Jewish leaders. And the latter were itself, killed, or sold into slavery. They tried to make a comeback in and Methuselah Ulatif, Wunderbokta, rebel against Haran. But 2 years later, Haran's army defeated the Jewish armies, and Jewish independence was lost. As their punishment, Haran changed the name of Jerusalem to LA Capitalina, turned it into a pagan city, and banned the Jews from living there. Haran renamed Judea and Samaria to Syria Palestina. Check this out. Nevertheless say. When in replay. I'm still checking. Nevertheless said, I'm trying to make a connection here. When in replay, go ahead. I'm listening, nevertheless rubbed his beard, thinking, there were many, and he mean many, great African nations, but there are at least 10 African kingdoms many didn't know about. Well, we didn't know about. Anyway, see Borno pointing to the board, when in said, Born Emperor. Nevertheless said, Ok, the Born Emperor grew into the Canaan Emperor, in opposition Nigeria. At its height, it covered not only much of Chad, but also parts of southern Libya and eastern Niger, northeastern Nigeria, and northern Cameroon. By the late 18th century, this same kingdom became known as the Islamic Saifa. Pointing to the board, when in said, Saifa or Saifa dynasty. Nevertheless say. Saifa or Saifa dynasty, which was founded by Umayyad Humayyad Salamna. Saifa dynasty ruled for 717 years, making it one of the longest lasting dynasties in human history. Fanfare West-South civilization which flourished in Middle Africa, and disallowed by the shareholders of Luxed into the later became part of Cameroon and Chad. South was called workers in bronze, copper, and in Fanfare was the Shalok Kingdom, the Big Yerma Kingdom, and the Wadi Empire, the Kingdom of Luba Empire. In the Kingdom of Lunda and Fijian Empire, many of his tribes from Africa claimed Jewish ancestry. They observed Semitic traditions such as Cashapp theater restrictions and slavery practice, malcircumcision, and strict laws against intermarriage. Many Sadic-sounding clan names were in Kenya, Nigeria, Mali, Guinea, Cameroon, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and even Southern and other countries, as well. On fact, me was an African tribe called Talamba, in South Africa. Now Pete face. When in Ecuador, lashing, in peeping. Nerlusser was so involved in his sports, and when in it was always glow and was excited as Nerlusser continued. We already spoke about this, just why did you come from what you say? Did you know the end of the slave trade was not the end of slavery? Before when in it Bukadens were, Nerlusser continued, but when in it was part of how Nerlusser was waiting and let him continue. Now, Britain has been considered a great liberator of enslaved African people after becoming the first to oppose slave trade in and Shishimint Matusabat, and pursuing other countries to follow suit. Truth be told, Britain was the biggest exporter of Africans during the 18th century. For 200 years, Portugal had a monopoly on the export of Africans for enslavement. Faced them at fed during 450 years of the transatlantic slave trade, Portugal transported over 4.5 million African captives, about 40% of the total. During the 18th century, however, when the slave trade accounted for transporting 6 million Africans, Britain was the worst transgressor responsible for the enslavement of almost 2.5 million people. Britain would continue the practice of slavery for another 26 years after abolishing the slave trade, which proved to cost thanks to slave rebellions. The United States also abolished slave trade in and Shishimint Matusabat, but not slavery. Portugal followed suit in and Shishimint Matusilsazating, with its former colony Brazil abolishing it in and Shishimint Matusamaniasiment. The latest slave trade consisted of about 18.5 million deaths and total of Atlantic slave trade at 18 million. That amounts to 34.5 million deaths, of one group of people. That does not include the deaths from the practice of slavery across the diaspora, which ended in Brazil, Iran and Shishimint Matusamaniasiment, nor does it account for the centuries of colonialism across the continent. As tolerant historian named, John Henrik Clark, plaatst dit halve version loves last during the slave trade of the version holofested about 150 million. Merlisser repeated himself in India, 150 million, he said all of that to say this, many slaves that were captured and spread all over the world, were from places that Jewish community Magdo, after both excellence, and he believed if not all, most of them were the chosen people of Sebath. The 12 tribes of Israel. The original Jews. When Enoch shook his head, well said. Merlisser having a funny look on his face, as he flipped it from his tablet, he can't find the direct quote and not even sure, if he said it or not, but he found articles and some documentaries that said that, Adolf Hitler, knew black Americans were truly Jews of Israel. On the article he Schiller saying, because of the way the Jews, Knal Negros, are the natural children of Israel. And to keep America's secret, the Jews wild black to America. The Jews wild actor. America, fair dominant plan won't work, if Negros knew what they were. The way the citizens of America, well better if it took off that they've been misleading and discriminating, and lynching the children of Israel, all of them. They feared God will destroy them, as destroyed Egypt, for doing the same thing. So, the element Israel keeps this a secret at all costs, but he found this in Federer, Holden. Placing his tablet that when his legs and foot in front of notice, in the back of his door, Haritis, Thebokis, Thinazis, World War E by Robert Winhorstein. Pointing with his finger, as they good across the tablet, reading, Hitler said, America has stolen the Jews. The Jews of God. Highest jewelry. Feniras. They are the true Hebrews. With a foolish mouth, and direct challenge to God. And they plan on moving these false witty Jews into the state of Israel. America's disparity in its attempt when this war is in atomic bombs in Japan. America will destroy, the entire world in its attempt to conquer it now, follow Metutator. Turn with Meteor of Legends for reversing in, Bell, it will make this of the scenario of Satan, who says that they are using it or not. Merlisser took a deep breath, every read about proud moments, sad moments in our history. Reading about people like Samuel Cons, Grand Volatile was, those beginnings, the Chancellor Williams, First Aborers, Simon Bells. There's also Redats, Central Park Amst, Helete Medwally, Arkansas the land massacre into Clinton Asrahulet. When Enoch was molded Merlisser, what is a king without his kingdom? Just a man. But no is within your flesh, you are utterly, and befess you are filled of Sabbath. Ultimate and supreme king, you possess reality into spirit. You are it with blessed. Merlisser's mouth as a tear fell from his eyes. When Enoch said before walking Yahweh, Yah shall be my counselor, to all who have been knocked down, and can seem to you. Study all cultures and traditions of men to serve, as a beacon of light of us who sit the lead in Sabbath, but can sit late within themselves. Just then, as he was speaking, people that looked off and fearfully started returning, returned and spoke to when Enoch, when we had no hope, you brought it to us, when what I feared was no such thing as love, you shouted to us. It appears that you might need our help. You have been selfless, why should we be selfish? We will go and help you as you have helped us, even with power of Sabbath, we are great, but as soon, we are greater. Until as well, we will offend our loved ones. You have that yes, what sense it makes for a finger, at all, or even a hand of it our and leave it respectably behind, we will fit us in body. What knows, some of our family might do where you are going. When Enoch had tears in his eyes, say about this. Merlisser interrupted, seeing he was happy, and said, say about this able. When Enoch said, yes, he is, but he was going to say Sabbath, is awesome.